Hi, in this video I'm going to be showing you all how I make my acrylic nameplate necklaces. I am using an X-Tool P2 laser engraver cutting machine. This is the silver mirror acrylic that I'm cutting out these letters for the name. This acrylic is 3 millimeters. And I just use that to cut out each letter individually, and I apply the 3M double-side sticky tape to the back of the acrylic before I cut the letters out, as you can see here. So it just peels off and you just stick it onto the acrylic. This particular necklace is 3 layers, so this is the second layer, and it's just an offset of the name that you just saw me cut out with the mirror acrylic. I also applied the 3M sticky tape to the back of that one. Since it is 3 layers, that particular piece is going to go on top of the bottom layer, which is the base. This here is black acrylic, and this is the base of the necklace, the bottom piece. So there is no need to apply the 3M double-sided sticky tape to this one. The brown paper on there is just the masking paper that comes on some acrylic. Some acrylic has the brown masking paper and some have clear. You can cut your pieces out with leaving the masking on there. So that's what I did. This here is sublimation acrylic, and so I'm cutting out the piece that I will apply his picture to. This also gets the double-sided sticky tape, but not prior to cutting. That goes on after the image is sublimated. Now this here is the image that I'm going to be putting on this piece. These acrylics do have a clear film on the front and the back. You do want to remove the film from the back of the acrylic piece before you sublimate. I purchased this acrylic, the sublimation acrylic, from JP Plus. There is also some on Amazon. So for sublimation, if any of you do that, you know typically you would mirror your image, but for this sublimation acrylic you do not mirror the image because you are applying the image to the back of the sublimation acrylic. The back has a white coating and the front of it is clear, so you will see the image through the front that you sublimated on the back. So therefore you do not mirror your image. I pressed this on 365 degrees for about 100 seconds, giving light to medium pressure, more so on the lighter side. Otherwise, I have had these pieces not melt completely, but start to melt with extra pressure. So light to medium pressure. And whenever I do take it from underneath the heat press, I just usually will put it on something flat, try to press it down with my hand. Usually I'll put it on the floor, a hard surface, and not the heat press mat. But for this video purposes, I just showed you guys how I just press it down to make sure that it's flat. So now I'm going to go ahead and start assembling the necklace. This is the base piece, the bottom piece of the necklace, and you just want to remove the masking paper from the front. You don't have to remove it from the back at this point. I do recommend maybe wearing gloves when you're doing this, especially with certain acrylics, because they do capture fingerprints. And once you get all of your pieces on there, it's just harder to wipe around the pieces to remove the fingerprints. So either wipe it really good before you start to place your pieces, and also recommend wearing gloves. So I just peeled off the backing for the double-sided sticky tape. I also do use a little bit of glue on these pieces just to make sure that they stay on. You don't need a whole lot. That was probably too much glue, but the piece was pretty big, so I was able to use the glue right out of the bottle. For the smaller pieces like the letters, I usually put a little bit of glue onto something and apply it with like a toothpick, because a little bit of glue can go a long way, and it gets messy if you use too much. So here is where I add the double-sided sticky tape to the sublimation piece. If you remember, when I cut it out, you do not put that on the back of it prior to cutting. You do it after you've pressed your image onto it and once you're ready to apply it. So I just cut out random pieces just to fit on there in different spots, and then I also added a little bit of glue to the back of that piece as well. And so you guys see that this video does not have part one of how I designed this particular necklace. If you guys would like a video on that, I can record one. I use Silhouette the Silhouette Business Edition to design all of my necklaces. I believe you have to have the business edition in order to save these files as an SVG, and that's how I save the files, as SVG, and I just export them over into Xtools Creative Space, the application that I use to cut the pieces out. So here's the glue going onto the back of that piece, and you just want to make sure you just get it down into the right spot. And I normally just let it sit there for a second, kind of give it a light press, give the glue and the tape time to start doing its thing, sticking, and then after a few minutes or so, I'll go in and press a little firmer to make sure that they are all sticking as they should. And so here is where I just take a little bit of that glue and just put it on anything. And as I remove the backing for the double-sided sticky tape from each letter, I just take, that is actually a piece of acrylic that I'm using to apply the glue. But I usually just take a toothpick or anything small that you can get a small amount of glue onto the back of each letter. You don't want to put a whole lot. The double-sided sticky tape does really good. You can, I'm sure, make these necklaces without even using any glue to reinforce it. I just like extra. Sometimes when I've done these necklaces, I will take the piece that I'm applying the letters to, and I will score where the letters go, so that way it's easier for me to just place them in the spot that they go without having to worry, is it up too far, is it down too far, is it over to the right too far, because the score lines will show you exactly where the letters should be placed. I don't always do that, it just depends. Because once you get your letters in place, you're not really going to be moving them. This here is the final letter for this necklace, the N that I'm placing on the name. And so here is where I just go in and just give each letter, each piece, a little bit of pressure, pressing it down into place to make sure that it gets on there really good. And this is how it's looking so far. I know that it kind of looks a little bit cloudy, but there is the protective film still on those pieces on top, so I don't remove that until I'm finished with the necklace. This here is where I add the chain. I do measure these and I make them the size according to the age of the child. So I make the chains anywhere from 10 inches to about 16 inches, I believe. For this one, I measured each piece at about 8 inches. There are 2 pieces that I use to make the chain, so that's how you get the 16 inches or the 14 inches or 12. There's 2 pieces that are, approximately 7 inches each, 8 inches, 6 inches, however long I want to make it. So I just take these little jewelry cutters and I cut this Cuban chain link off. Sometimes I have a little difficulty with it. It might not be the correct cutting tool that I'm using to cut it. I do get it cut, but sometimes I have a little difficulty getting it. I typically do these necklaces with gold Cuban chain and accessories, gold mirror acrylic, but I did have someone ask for silver, and so I ordered the silver accessories, and this here was the second silver necklace that I've done. I think I've only done 2 silver, and I've done, I don't know, probably close to 20 gold. The gold is for sure the most popular. So I have the 1 piece cut, and I just go ahead and do the same thing with the other piece that I have measured. And so these are the jump rings that you use to connect the chains to the base plate. These sizes here or the 8mm jump rings. And just place one onto each side. Put the chain in there and then close the jump rings together. And you just repeat the same thing for the other side. Twist them to open them up. Connect the chain and then just add it onto that hole onto the other side. And then you want to close that up, and then I just pinch them together and close them up a little bit more. I think I closed that one a little bit too much. I also did just start making these probably about 2 months ago. I'd say somewhere close to the middle of January. This is now close to the end of March, so I've not been making them that long. I do still have some issues when I'm working with these jump rings and different things, but the more I go, the better I get at it and have less issues. So for the end pieces of the chain, I use the 6mm jump rings, and I ordered all of these jump rings, the Cuban chain, the lobster claws that I use, the clasp. I ordered all of these from a seller on Etsy. I can list the seller shop in the description if anyone is interested. I don't have the name of the shop offhand right now, but I can list it if you guys would like to know the seller's storefront. And so I just add the other 6mm jump ring to the other end of the chain, and then also I add the lobster claw clasp. Once that's on there, just close it together and tighten it up a little bit. And so this necklace is now complete. Now is where I go on here and just go ahead and remove the clear film from the front of each piece. And clearly I'm having a hard time removing the film from this letter. Sometimes it takes a minute to get it up and get it going, and sometimes I can get it off with no problems. But of course, when I was trying to record this to make this video for this tutorial, every piece that could have gave me an issue did exactly that. just go ahead and remove that masking from the back. And here is the finished product in the ring light, and it looks so good. The videos just don't do these necklaces any justice. I'm telling you, in person they are so gorgeous. The customer loved her necklace, and she said that he loved his necklace as well. And if you guys have any other questions regarding this video, just leave them in the comment section and I will answer them at my earliest convenience. Thanks for watching.